All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will now convene the April 11, 2023 Special Magistrate Proceedings for the City of Daytona Beach. At the outset, I've reviewed and approved the March 14, 2023 minutes. Do we have any announcements as far as this morning's hearing is concerned?
Yes, sir. We have 3 in compliance. Starting on page 3, case number 5, SMG 04-23-102, 228 North Hollywood Avenue, 232, is in compliance as of 4/10/23. On page number 4, case number 12, SMG 04-23-111, 833 Mason Avenue, is in compliance 4/7/23. On page number 6, case number 17, SMG 04-23-79, North Lincoln Street parcel, is in compliance as of 4/6/23. That's it.
Very good. Will those representatives for the City of Daytona Beach who will be testifying in this morning's proceedings please stand and be sworn?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
All right. We're going to take case number 34 first. Crossroads of Daytona, LLC. Is anyone here for the respondent?
Thank you, sir. I
Morning.
appreciate this.
No problem. If you would please state your name for the record.
Colleen Miles, Land Development Resource Group.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, well, case number 34 is here for the imposition of a fine, so let's hear from our inspector first.
Good morning, Sarah Kirk, Inspector with the city. Since the last hearing, there has been a lot of progress. We're just waiting on a final inspection. So we would like to ask to amend to the next cutoff for compliance.
All right, next cutoff being May 3, 2023.
Yes.
What say the respondent?
That's fine, sir. The only thing missing is landscape, and I'm hoping it'll be in a week.
Very good. All right, then, based upon the stipulation of the parties, I'm going to go ahead and amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until May 3 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
And case number 41. Lauren and Herb Kawesh. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Mr. Kawesh, if you can speak up, you can stay where you are if you want. I'll leave that up to you.
Ready, sir? Thank you.
Okay?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide? I'm sorry. State your name.
Stephen Weaver.
Weaver.
Herb Catwish.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we're here for a progress report and to perhaps determine a compliance date. So who am I going to hear from? Mr. Weaver, they're all pointing at you.
Good morning, Special Magistrate. My name's Steve Weaver. I'm a general contractor and an entitlement consultant. I was here representing someone else a month ago, and I was made aware of Mr. Cowish's circumstance. He had been ripped off by a contractor. Has a very complex case, and him and I have been talking over the last couple of weeks. I've done a couple of inspections of the property. Paying me. I've got my architect involved. Because of the releveling of a house up on piers, there's requirements for a survey and a different potential tie down and uplift and vapor proofing concerns on the bottom. I'm working with my architect in the building department and we'll have plans in, I'm not sure when. We're trying our best. I know you're not gonna give us any more than 60 days. So I'm hoping that Mr. Cowish, who has gone the step of retaining me and the architect and work with me to the best that he could, considering the circumstances, a little bit more time. And the next progress report should be that we have plans in the building department. 60.
Okay, and is this house being occupied in the interim?
3 of the units that are the upstairs of the center unit, because of the dilapidated stairwell, is not.
I could comment. The cottage on the rear left that requires the leveling is occupied from outward.
Safe?
One layman's opinion, I would say yes. It's not wobbly or unleveled. It's just was raised without a permit prior to Mr. Cowish's ownership.
Okay.
2 of the units have, or the one unit that's upstairs, the stairs are shot. I think he's got them adequately safed off there, and if not, I'm gonna make sure that there's absolutely no way that anyone else can get up there, but I believe that rear unit's not occupied. And the laundry room, where some work was done to temporarily support a ceiling system, it's safe, but it's not legal. And that's another man's opinion. I think what you're saying is, I'm gonna take some extra effort and make sure that we are in a real safe position moving forward. And, got my commitment. We've already tried to get some surveyors on board. That's gonna take a minute because the house is we have to have a flood zone certificate for the raising or lowering of that house and vapor barrier requirements. But it's a little bit more complex because there's 3 or 4 substantial structural issues on 3 different buildings. So we got stairs to design, we've got the leveling concern, there's replacement of a door. Several of the handrails on the house don't meet the 4-inch ball test anymore. So if we're out there, we're gonna try and address those issues as well.
Okay, as far as the areas of the house that are occupied, are they safe? Or is it something that can be made safe? I mean, before I start thinking about the extended time you certainly sound like you're gonna be asking for, I just need to make sure that in the interim, nobody's going to get hurt. So as far as the areas of the house that are occupied, are they safe and or secure?
In my opinion as a general contractor, I would say yes. I would defer maybe to Mr. Yates.
I'll ask him for his opinion.
Yes, sir.
I'm only asking you for your opinion.
The cottage is safe to be occupied. Yes, sir. There's no trip hazards going up. It's not about to fall.
All right.
The building up front, I believe the downstairs unit is rented, but the stairs and a landing leading to it are sound. There's just some rail repairs. The upstairs, which is not occupied, is not occupied and should be safed off, so no trespassers could get up there either on those dilapidated stairs. The damages on the 3rd building are not consequential or structural, and so without having inspected it, I'd call it safe just on that presumption.
Let's say the city.
I would say overall, obviously not a structural engineer, that we overall agree with that sentiment, and that they have gotten the contractor involved. In consideration of that, I'd like to amend to the June hearing for another progress report, where hopefully at that point we'll have drawings and we can move forward with a more concrete timeline.
All right, I hate to put anybody on the spot this early in the morning, but am I gonna see you at the June hearing?
Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but I'm here for the duration. I got involved because I felt
Okay,
bad for him, and I'm going to play through because it's the right thing to do.
okay, Mr. Koesch, are you and this gentleman and or another contractor going to be here at the June hearing to report that progress is continuing?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll take you at your word. All right, gentlemen, with that, we will continue this matter to our June 13, 2023 hearing for another progress report and, if possible, the determination of a compliance date, but we'll wait till then. All right, good luck to y'all.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, sir.
All right, case number 1, CCO Investment LLC. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, the case before you was a citizen's complaint. The notice of violation was issued for no business tax receipt and a non-functional HVAC. They were first notified August 18, 2022, and compliance was due September 17, 2022. As of the inspection on March 23, 2023, they are still not in compliance. However, the HVAC has been fixed, so the only item left is the business tax receipt. I'd like to make a recommendation of non-compliance with compliance due by the next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the testimony of our inspector, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 2, Vivian and Dorian Boza. Anyone here for the respondent? Come on up. You would please state your name and be sworn by our secretary.
Vivian Boza.
Raise your right hand. You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ms. Boza, do you agree this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I find the respondent in noncompliance. Mr. Inspector, how much time should reasonably be required for the respondent to come into compliance?
They already have a contractor, and they're working on the matter, so next cutoff.
Our inspector seems to think you ought to be able to have this taken care of by May 3. What say you to that?
Yes, sir. I have, we submitted the paperwork. We just had a problem where the contractor had to provide proof that he had a license for Volusia County, and somehow he missed that notice, and I had checked downstairs, and they told me that he had provided that, so we're just waiting for the permit to be issued.
Very good. All right, then, based upon the testimony of the parties, I will amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the, no, is this the first appearance?
Yes.
I will allow the respondent until May 3, 2023 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Make sure you contact this gentleman to remind him to to finish it out for whatever final inspections may be required. Case number 3, Andre Rondo and Odette Peralt. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Good morning, John Stinson, Code Inspector with the City of McQuabbin. Case on file. This case is complaint-driven. The violations were exterior staining, damaged roof, dilapidated lattice, broken windows, missing screens. The property was posted on 13 February of this year. Compliance was due by 13 March. The site was visited last on yesterday. The property remains in non-compliance. We're asking for compliance by the next cutoff.
All right, noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 4, Andre Rondeau and Odette Peralt. Once again, not seeing anyone here for the respondent, what say the city?
This case is basically same type as the last one. It's complaint-driven. Violations on this property were outside storage, damaged exterior walls, damaged roof, damaged stairs, handrails, windows, screens, doors, interior surfaces, infestation, plumbing, and electrical hazards, and the lack of a rental license and inspection. Property was posted on 13 February of this year. Compliance was due by 13 March of this year. Site was visited yesterday, and property remains in non-compliance for all violations. We're asking for order of non-compliance and compliance by the next cutoff.
Okay. Sure.
John, any of these hazards that you mentioned, first of all, are these occupied?
Yes, sir, they are.
Okay, and you mentioned electrical hazards and plumbing system hazards, any of those are life safety to that level?
No, not at this time.
Okay. I have nothing.
Okay, has the respondent done anything yet?
No, sir.
Okay. Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony, I find the respondent to be in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 5 is in compliance. Case number 6, David Clark. If you would please state your name and be sworn.
Yes, Your Honor. David Clark, 37 South Peninsula.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Clark, are you in agreement these violations existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
I'm not clear on what the violations are, Your Honor.
All right, well, let's ask our inspector. Mr. Inspector?
Inspector Jean-Baptiste. This is for property at 37 South Peninsula. This was a field-generated case. Violations are as follow. Failure to repair damaged concrete, failure to repair damaged wall. The property was posted on February 3rd, 2023, the compliance date of February 18th, 2023. Property was re-inspected, and upon March 9th, 2023, was found to be non-compliant. As such, staff is recommending a finding of non-compliance, compliance by the next cutoff.
Okay, are these photographs the condition you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Clark, is it your contention you're in compliance?
Your Honor, I'm not exactly sure of the procedure here, as I am simply an owner-occupant. I purchased the property in April 15th of 2022. I was not aware of any non-compliance. Apparently, this has been a long-standing, I don't know what you'd call it, issue that had been brought to the previous owners, which was not disclosed to me at my purchase, and that has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that I was only made aware of these issues in January. I was given a list of probably 20 different things that were at issue with the city. I have been working on this property since purchasing nonstop. We began with renovating the interior, obviously, which was gutted. It's done. We've started working on the exterior of the property immediately. And first meeting with John Baptiste, he complimented us on all of the work that had been done. Like I say, we've been working nonstop. And now it's down to with the exception of this wall. At our last meeting, he told me that he would give us time to either address this. I'm not sure of how it lands on my property, because it does not fall within the setback. It's at 24 feet from the center of the city, of the street. I requested to meet with him to take a measurement. He didn't get back to me. Then when he finally did, he had stopped by. I wasn't home. And this was on Friday, just past.
Isn't that your wall?
I don't know if it's my wall or not, or if it's the city's.
Why would it be the city's?
As far as the zoning and the setback, it's on the city's property.
Okay, well, it might be in a right-of-way, but I don't know that it would be in the city's property. Okay, apparently the respondent is raising an issue as to ownership of this wall and responsibility, which would go to the matter of compliance or non-compliance. So what say the city with regard to the suggestion that the property owner is in doubt as to whether that's his wall?
Well, we can always go back and take a look at that information that has been brought up to us. As far as I was concerned as the inspector on site, it appears that the property, that's within the bounds of the property. Yes, it is leaning on the sidewall, but one would be able to tell that this is part of the retaining wall of the property.
Well, I would assume it is the property owner's wall. The fact that it's leaning over the sidewalk is the property owner's responsibility, not the city's responsibility.
Agree.
But since the issue has been brought up, I guess I will continue this matter till next month's meeting. At that point in time, the two of you can address Who owns the wall?
Sounds good.
The measurement is 24
Suspicion.
feet from the,
My suspicion, before anybody goes and starts spending a lot of money, is that it probably belongs to the property owner, and while there may be easements as far as right-of-ways and things of that nature, I don't believe that changes ownership. But that having been said, everybody has the right to pursue their legal remedies to the utmost they choose to. So that having been said, we will continue this matter in its entirety to the June 13, 2023 meeting, and we will start again. And this time, we will be focusing on the ownership of the wall. And if in the interim, we find out that the wall does in fact belong to the property owner, then it might behoove you to contact the inspector and start talking about a reasonable amount of time to make the fix happen. But either way, I'll be here to hear whatever needs to be heard. Okay?
yes, sir.
luck
Apparently, I
to
was
you.
given 2 weeks.
Pardon?
Apparently, I was given 2 weeks
2 weeks to what?
from the date of notification to get it done, when I was told that I would be given time. But
All right, well, we'll talk about how much time is going to be required. I guess the first issue is you brought up the issue of ownership, so I guess we'll address that first, and that's exactly what we'll do. All right, good luck to y'all. Case number 7, Sussman's Incorporated. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Sussman Incorporated, this facility is at 303 Seabreeze Boulevard. This was a city referral for the following violation: failure to repair damaged awning, failure to repair damaged exterior wall header. Property was posted on November 3rd, 2022, with a compliance date of December 3rd, 2022. Upon a site visit on March 9th, 2023, the facility is still not in compliance. As such, staff is recommending a finding of non-compliance, compliance by the next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent based upon the inspector's testimony and the photographs presented at the hearing, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 8, SIG Global FLP. Morning, Counselor. If you
Good
would
morning.
please state your name for the record.
Jessica Gow, Cobb Cole Law Firm, 149 South Ridgewood Avenue, Daytona Beach, Florida.
Counselor, are we agreeing that this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Yes.
All right, I find the respondent in noncompliance. Mr. Inspector, how much time should reasonably be required for the respondent to come into compliance?
Mr. Magistrate, if you remember, this is part of a case that we heard last time in which afforded the respondent some time to go before the city board, be able to get some more information. And since that's due to be up in May, so we would like to give them till the next cutoff to have everything come into compliance, please.
Okay, well, refresh my weary mind. What's so complicated about this case?
If you remember, this was a retaining wall issue, specifically as you're looking at this particular picture shows how the wall is on one end and then you have the gate
Is
on
this
the
on
other.
ISB?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
all
sir.
right. Yeah, and it's the wall that gotcha.
Correct.
10-4. All right, so what are we doing?
Next cutoff, please.
Next cutoff to come into compliance or next cutoff to hear it? We've agreed that it's in noncompliance. What's happening by the next cutoff?
Next cutoff, they were supposed to go to the board, to the city board, to be able to figure out what's the next step.
So we're
Well, the council-
deferring the determination of a compliance date until the next meeting. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Well,
If I
I
can.
don't know if that's it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ms. Gow, where are we actually?
Sure. I would say, so we were not involved last meeting, so we understand that the direction was, reach out to the city, find the history of the wall. So Eddie reached out to us, they brought us on, got engaged. The wall meanders onto our property and the property behind it, where you can see the fences are built and all of those there. So we've requested a specific purpose survey to see where the exact location of the wall is. Right now on the survey, it just says on the property line. Instinctually, and we're working with engineers, retaining walls are put in by the lots that are developed. When they bring in fill to bring it up to grade, they can either grade it down to level with our property line or put a retaining wall so they can be higher, which lends the thought that the wall was put in when those houses were built to keep their fill in place. We don't want to just remove the wall because it could damage their foundation, cause issues.
But the wall's on your client's property.
At some point, maybe. That's why we're getting that specific purpose survey to make sure where it is. These were built in like
We're gonna be
1920.
here next month with the survey?
We should have the survey in about 4 weeks. It's been requested. They're just behind. So we're happy to check in and see what we find. If there's a repair needed and it meanders across both, we're happy to work with the neighborhood and see what happens, but it affects about 8 houses in this area.
If I can inquire as well, is it your conclusion that y'all would need to get a variance if on this or no? I mean, that was what he was thinking last time.
Right, I don't know what the variance would be to. I don't know that you can get a variance for a wall repair. I think it has to be.
I think his position was that he thought it had to remain.
I do think it has to remain. Yeah, so I think we're looking at who owns it, what's the maintenance obligation, when was it put in, how do we repair it? Let's all work together, is our suggestion. We want it to be fixed, and we don't want to rip it out and ruin these houses.
Okay, so it sounds like we're continuing a compliance date until the next meeting.
Right.
On the assumption that we'll have more information by then. If not, we might be in the same boat that we're in right now.
Correct.
All right, then I will continue to the June 13, 2023 meeting, the determination of a compliance date.
Okay.
Thank you, and I do have 2 other properties.
Well,
All right, what are they?
The first one is case number 44.
Case number 44, 2000 Atlantic
Did
Avenue.
he cover both of these?
Dilapidated seawall, damaged steps, peeling paint, and Mr. Yates is the inspector.
If I could just ask before we,
Oh, there's number 9. Sorry, you're right.
before we go ahead, he actually had 2 cases for the
It's the
same, number 8 and number 9. Would we just address?
We're going down the rabbit hole.
Sorry.
All right, what cases are you talking about now?
oh, cases 8 and 9, we mentioned 8, so we're looking for cases.
Same respondent.
Same
All right,
respondent.
case number 9,
Yes, sir.
SIG Global FLP. All right, 220 South Wild Olive. Are you here on that one as well?
Yes, it's the same overall property.
Right.
Same issue.
Overall
Yep.
property. Do you agree the violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Yes.
Then I find the respondent in noncompliance. Is it the same solution?
Yes.
Sir.
All right, then once again, we will continue the determination of a compliance date in case number 9 to our June 13, 2023 meeting. All right, what's next?
44.
Case number 44. Are we good with you, Mr. Inspector? Are we done with you?
All set, thank you, sir.
Very good. Case number 44 is 2000 Atlantic LLC, dilapidated seawall, damaged steps, peeling paint. And Mr. Yates is our inspector. This matter is here for the imposition of a fine, so let's hear from Mr. Yates.
All right, since the last hearing, we've had contact in progress. I would like to amend to the June cutoff to allow the work to continue.
What say the respondent?
That's acceptable. We've shared with Inspector Yates a cleanup plan for temporary cleanup of debris on the site. Like I think you'll hear multiple times today, any seawall repair right now is facing the hurdle of turtle season starting on May 1st. And so they're trying diligently to get materials
So
out.
what is that going to mean then? Okay, turtles arrive as expected May 1st, bags in hand.
Right.
What happens?
It's a good question. So DEP and
Does that mean
FWC
everything in the way of working on the beach comes to a halt?
DEP and FWC have issued an initial determination that if you have started work, you can continue as long as it does not impact sea turtle nests. Now, FWC's definition of started work is materials on site, excavation complete. That changes day to day because DEP is trying to work with them to scale that back a bit. Because what we're seeing is that the walls themselves for the replacement of the seawalls are about 4 to 8 weeks behind on order because everyone's facing this issue. And so each property, as they go on, they have to work with FWC and DEP to say, it's ordered, we've got equipment on site, we're doing work, let us continue. And it's going to be a case-by-case kind of review.
So when these various respondents get brought in here and are told to come into compliance, The first question has to be, what does DEP and SW whatever
FWC,
have to
Florida
say
Fish and
as far
Wildlife.
as whether you're allowed to even do anything?
Correct.
Okay. All right, so in any event, we are extending our current compliance date in this matter till May 3,
June.
till June 7, okay. Is that what I'm hearing? All right. Pursuant to the stipulation of the parties, I'm going to amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until June 7, 2023 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Are you here for the next case as well?
The next case is the same matter. So yes, 45.
Okay, case number 45. Is this the same circumstance?
Yes, sir.
And you're agreeing, this already here for the imposition of a fine. All right, same circumstance, same outcome?
Yes, I'd like to amend to June.
Okay. Again, based upon the stipulation of the parties, I will amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until June 7, 2023 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. That it?
Thank you. I also have 47. I said properties. Sorry, 44 and 45 were tied together.
Case number 47, Blue Daytona 1 LLC. Mr. Baptiste is our inspector. All right, this matter is here for the imposition of a fine, so let's hear from our inspector.
Since last hearing, I've had several communications with the property owners of the hotel. Currently, the property is going through a complete renovation, or major renovation, I should say, and progress is ongoing according to our permitting department, building department. In terms of progress, the seawall permit is in the process, I should say, and facility is currently, as I said, under construction. There is no one on the property. There is no business being done in terms of people staying at the hotels. However, that's why the current construction is as it looks right now.
So this hotel's unoccupied at
It's
present?
unoccupied, that's the word.
Because of the seawall?
It's unoccupied because it was, not necessarily because of the seawall. They're going through a construction, but since the last 2 hurricanes back-to-back, they have had additional issues with the seawall. So yes.
Okay.
So staff is recommending to, well, we wish to hear from council first.
All right, Counselor, what's going on with Blue Daytona 1 LLC?
Sure. So they are ahead of the game a bit in that their DEP permit has been issued. So they are ahead there. They need the city permit to start work. And they believe that they can have the work completed by the May 1st cutoff for the sea turtle season, not the city cutoff, which is a different day.
Definitely.
Well, does that include the seawall?
Yes, that is the last outstanding item, really.
And you're going to have that done by May 3?
They believe so. They have the materials ordered, permit in hand.
Very good. All right, then I guess I will, based upon the testimony presented, I will amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent till May 3, 2023 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Okay, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Case number 10, Mesa Nova Daytona LLC. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Vakelja.
Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
This case is opened as a self-initiated case for exposed electrical wires, junk vehicles, commercial truck storage, recycle storage, trash debris, refrigerator storage, pallet storage, discarded furniture, loose metal roofing, hanging electrical wire, and damaged signs. There's been contact and progress with the property management. First notification was February 8th, 2023. Compliance was due March 8th, 2023. Last inspection was yesterday at April 10th, 2023. This case is in non-compliance with compliance due by next cutoff.
That's request.
Okay, are these issues throughout the property?
Correct.
So we're addressing the entire
The
property.
entire mall, strip mall.
Very good. All right, and have you gotten in, what amount of compliance have you gotten from the respondent to date?
So far, that looping wire that goes across the roof has been replaced. The sheet metal roofing has been repaired. The pallet storage in the back by the building supply company has been removed. Most of the furniture has been removed. I just saw some more yesterday. The boat refrigerator, the junk vehicles have been removed, except for that one, the gray one. And pallet storage, recycle storage has been removed, and both exposed electrical wires have been removed as far as the issues.
Okay. All right, and how long were you proposing to give them?
I would say compliance due by next cutoff.
All right. Based upon our noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the inspector's testimony, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 11, 855 Mason LLC. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
This case was opened as self-initiated case for incorrect sign display, trash enclosure damage, dirt and grime on the retainer wall, trash and debris throughout the property, overgrown landscape, and damaged AC unit. There has been contact in progress. First notification was February 10th, 2023. As a posting, compliance is due March 10th, 23. Last inspection was yesterday, April 10th. I met with the contractor yesterday as well, and he's going to have everything done within 2 weeks, so case is in non-compliance with the compliance due by next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony, I find the respondent to be in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 12 is in compliance. Case number 13, Daniel M. and Haisun McCune. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
This case was opened as a self-initiated case January 11, 2023 for broken window, damaged sign, peeling paint, trash and debris, overgrown landscaping, unlicensed commercial vehicle parking from the paint shop nearby. There's been contact as of yesterday. First notification was January 31st, 2023. Compliance was due February 2nd, 2023. Last inspection was yesterday, April 10, 2023. And the only thing that's been done is the landscape. This case is in non-compliance with compliance due by next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony, I find the respondent to be in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 14, Nova Commercial LLC. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
This case was opened as well as a self-initiated case January 11, 2023 for hazardous exterior lighting, damaged signs, broken window, damaged gutter, peeling paint, damaged exterior door, rotted exterior accessory structure, non-permitted exterior seating area, damaged sign wiring. There has been contact. There has been no progress. Compliance was due February 23 of 2023, and the last inspection was April 5, 2023. Case is in non-compliance with compliance due by next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony, I find the respondent to be in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case 15, Global Plaza USA Incorporated. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
This case was opened as a self-initiated case on February 10, 2023 for hazardous exterior wiring, hazardous electrical wiring around the meters, perimeter roof leaks, peeling paint, vines overgrown over the electrical meters, damaged exterior door, covered window, hot water heater installed outside, unstable block AC supports, damaged bent parking poles, trash debris, and abandoned electrical equipment storage. There's been contact with the owner and a lot of progress.
A lot of progress?
A lot of progress.
Thank God. Go on.
First notification was February 2nd, February 20, 2023. Compliance was due February 2023. Last inspection was April 3rd, 2023. This case is in non-compliance and to come into compliance for the next cutoff. And I did not have an opportunity to put the progress photos in, but he has actually made a lot and still expects to have it completely repainted by the next cutoff.
Good to hear. All right, noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 16, Daytona Express Convenience Store Incorporated. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
This case was opened as a self-initiated case on January 18, 2023 for damaged fuel island metal roof, signs within incorrect display or open, peeling paint, damaged missing parapet and overhangs, hanging electrical wiring, overgrown landscape, trash debris, glass, exterior wall holes, and accessory structure damage. There has been progress and contact. First notification was February 10, 2023. Compliance was due March 10, 2023. Last inspection was April 10, 2023. Case is in non-compliance to come into compliance by next cutoff, and there's just very little to do left, and he will be in compliance.
Okay. Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony, I find the respondent to be in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter.
Thank you, sir.
Case number 17 is in compliance. Case number 18, Norman H. Riley Estate.
Morning.
Good morning.
Credentials on file with the city.
Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this is a vacant lot case, was field generated, opened on January 27th of 23, overgrown vacant lot, had trash and debris. First notification was on February 9th, property was posted. Compliance was due by February 20th. Last day of reinspection was April 6th. Result, non-compliance. I spoke with the daughter once on January 23rd. Staff requested finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 19, Rosalie Riley. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this vacant lot case was field generated, opened on January 27th of 2023, vacant lot with trash and debris, overgrown landscaping. First notification was on February 9th, property was posted. Compliance was due by February 20th. Last day of reinspection, April 6th, result non-compliance. Spoke with the daughter on the 27th. She owns both of those, the previous case and this case. Staff requested finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Daughter plan on doing anything?
Apparently not, sir.
All right, noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony, I find the respondent to be in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 20, Katami Abdul Wahab, Faisal El Khatami, Steel Building. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this case was a citizen's complaint opened on January 24th of 2023 for overgrown vacant lot with trash and debris. First notification was on January 31st. Compliance was due by March 2nd. Last day of reinspection was April 5th. Result non-compliance, no contact from the owner. Staff requested finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony, I find the respondent to be in noncompliance. In order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 21, Joshua Lee Swift.
All right, this case was a complaint received from the building department. Case was opened back on January 1st of 2023. It was an overgrown vacant lot with trash and debris, outside storage, a recreational vehicle parked on the vacant lot. First notification was on February 15th of 23. Compliance was due by February 26th of 23. Last day of reinspection was April 6th. Result of non-compliance, no contact from the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony, I find the respondent to be in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 22, Shirley Baker Anderson.
All right, this was a vacant lot case, was field generated, opened on January 13th of 2023. Overgrown vacant lot with trash and debris, overgrown landscaping. First notification was on February 1st. Posted, compliance was due by February 13th. Last day of reinspection was April 6th. Result, non-compliance. There's been no contact from the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony, based upon the photographs presented, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 23, Paul George Korenyuk. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this was a vacant lot case, was field generated, opened on January 17th of 2023. Overgrown bushes and hedges on a vacant lot, trash and debris. First notification was on January 25th of 23. Compliance was due by February 7th of 23. Last day of reinspection was April 6th of 23. Result, non-compliance. There's no contact from the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 24, Paul George Korenyuk.
All right, this is a second parcel next to the previous one. Vacant lot case was field generated, opened on January 17th of 23. Overgrown bushes and hedges on a vacant lot. First notification was on January 25th of 23. Compliance was due by February 7th. Last day of reinspection was April 6th. Result, non-compliance. There's been no contact with the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 25, Derek Smith. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this was a field generated case, opened on January 26th of 2023. Overgrown vacant lot with trash and debris. First notification was on January 28th of 23. Compliance was due by February 8th of 23. Last day of reinspection was April 6th of 23. Result, non-compliance. There's been no contact from the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of a respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent to be in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 26, Chirek Ranjibai Patel. Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this case was field generated, opened on February 3rd of 2023. Overgrown vacant lot, landscaping, trash and debris, fallen trees, dilapidated fence. First notification was on February 17th of 2023. Compliance was due by February 28th of 2023. Last day of reinspection was April 6th of 23. Result, non-compliance, no contact from the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 27, Trustee LLC as trustee of the 330 Loomis Land Trust. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this case was field generated, opened on February 8th of 2023, overgrown lot with trash and debris. First notification was on February 14th of 2023. Compliance was due by February 25th of 23. Last day of reinspection was April 6th. Result, non-compliance. There's been no contact from the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 28, Trustee LLC as trustee of the 330 Loomis Land Trust. Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this is the adjacent parcel to the previous case. This case was field generated, opened on February 8th of 23, overgrown vacant lot with trash and debris. First notification, February 14th of 23. Compliance was due by February 25th of 23. Last day of reinspection, April 6th, 2023. Result, non-compliance, no contact from the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to go into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 29, Idella Sip. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this case was field generated, opened back on February 10th of 2023, overgrown vacant lot, multiple vehicles parked on the vacant lot, outside storage, dilapidated fence. First notification was on February 24th of 23. Property was posted. Compliance was due by March 9th. Last day of reinspection was this morning. All the vehicles except one has been moved. Still got some work to do. So result of the inspection was non-compliance. I spoke with the nephew for the first time on April 5th of 2023, and he said he would get everything cleaned up. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 30, Katami Abdul Wahab Al Faisal Al Katami Steel Building. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this case was field generated, opened back on February 10th of 2023, overgrown vacant lot with trash and debris. First notification was on February 10th, property was posted, compliance was due by March 9th. Last day of reinspection was April 5th. Result, non-compliance, no contact from the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the testimony of our inspector and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 31, Stephen Hamill. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, this case was a complaint received from the police department, opened on February 21st. It's a vacant lot with, it's like a homeless camp, trash and debris, garbage. First note of case was on February 25th of 2023. Compliance was due by March 8th of 2023. Last day of reinspection was April 6th. Result, non-compliance. There's been no contact from the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by May 3, 2023, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 32, Jonathan Worsham. Jonathan Worsham, Allison Worsham, Patrick Worsham. Anyone here for the respondent? All right, this matter is here for the imposition of a fine. Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
The city's asking, there's been no contact with the property owner since the last hearing. They've turned in paperwork to the city and it was rejected by the city, and the city's asking for a $100 per day fine up to $15,000.
Okay, why is our respondent MIA? This is like the second or third hearing the respondent's been MIA. After we bent over backwards to facilitate the zoning efforts they tried to utilize for the purpose of turning a square peg into a round hole. So, setting aside my color commentary, where are the respondents right now?
I don't know, sir.
Okay. And the respondents were supposed to be in compliance by April 5th in accordance with our last order. Am I reading that correctly?
I'm sorry?
Our respondents were supposed to be in compliance by April 5th. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Got it in front of me. All right, I am finding the respondent the sum of $100 per day commencing April 6, 2023, and that fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until the property is in compliance or the amount of the fine has reached the sum of $15,000.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Case number 33, COSI Investment LLC and MLA Dotel and Miriam P. Aversano. Is there anyone here for the respondent?
Your Honor, this is Barry Hughes. I am here on behalf of Ms. Dotel and Ms. Aversano.
Okay. This matter was continued from a March hearing. We're here for the imposition of a fine, so let's hear from our inspector. Let's hear from our inspector.
My name is Denzel Sipes. I'm Code Compliance Manager for Code Enforcement. I'm stepping in for Mark Jones. He's absent today. But since the last hearing, there have been no contact from the owners or their attorney. There have been no submittals as of April 11th, 2023. And we're here today for a progress report.
Why aren't we finding these people? I haven't heard anything about any progress.
There hasn't been any.
Right, this is a complicated case. This is the case where you reduce the fines on a prior owner, and despite the fact that the property was in non-compliance. This is this particular case, which has made things particularly difficult. It is incorrect that I had agreed last time to serve as appointment. I reached out to Mr. Jones and left phone messages last week. I did not get any back, but what I wanted to report to him was that the engineer from Upham Engineering, Roger Struckula, had reached out. I reached out to him to find out what was going on his end, and he had indicated that he had a tentative appointment with Hannah Ward for tomorrow.
I'm sorry, can you back up and say that again? I lost you for a second there.
Yeah, what I intended to tell Mr. Jones and advise him as to the status was that the engineer from Upham Engineering, Roger Struckala, and I may be mispronouncing his name, had emailed me and indicated that he had a tentative meeting with Hannah Ward for tomorrow, Wednesday. I do not know if that meeting is scheduled still or not.
Who's Hannah Ward?
She is a representative of the city of Daytona Beach. I believe she's in the planning department because we would have to obviously, coordinate the installation of a parking lot with the planning commission. There'd have to be, a site plan drawn up, engineering, landscaping, and so on. At the March hearing, I had suggested to Your Honor that this meeting, we're scheduling this for this April, was a little bit too aggressive, and I suggested a May meeting as we would have more progress. But we don't have a lot of progress yet because of the trouble getting the engineer going because of the workload of the engineers. But
So what do we hope to accomplish between now and the May meeting?
well, I would hope that he would have met with Hannah Ward. I would hope that we would have started the process of getting the site plan developed, determining what the city is actually going to require. Mr. Struckla indicated to me that he had a good report or a good rapport with the city and with Hannah Ward, that they would be able to work together. But this is going to be a process which is going to be, it's not going to be something that's accomplished within 30 or 60 days. The city is telling me when I
What is it
spoke.
we're ultimately doing here? We're putting in a small parking lot?
Yeah, on a quadruplex. It's a 4-unit quadruplex, so we need 8 parking places.
Okay. All right. Then I will continue this matter to our June meeting for a progress report.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Because it sounds like that's about as much as we can do now. And as long as we continue making progress toward getting this parking lot done, I guess I'll be satisfied. 10-4?
Thank you, sir.
All right, good luck to you. All right, case number 34 is in compliance. Case number 35, Jimmy L. Coleman Estate. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Good morning, Inspector Garcia. Credentials on file with the city. This property is, we had no contact from the owner. No progress has been made, and staff's recommending a fine of $250 a day, capped at $15,000. Vacant lot.
Okay. Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony, I am fining the respondent the sum of $250 per day commencing April 6, 2023, and that fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until the property is in compliance or the amount of the fine has reached the sum of $15,000.
Thank you.
Case number 36, MHP Daytona Air LLC. Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
You would please state your name and be sworn.
Jerry McKinn, property manager for Daytona Air LLC.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, this matter's here for the imposition of a fine, so let's hear from our inspector first.
Good morning, Inspector Butler. Since last month's court proceedings, I've had contact with the property manager. However, there's minimum progress has been made. Staff requests a fine of $100 a day to a maximum of $15,000.
What's the word? Is it Mr. McKim?
Sir?
What's your last name?
Jerry McKinn, McKin.
McKinn. Okay. What's the word, Mr. McKinn?
I've done all
This
I
doesn't
can
look
do.
like that big a deal.
It's not. I've got it insulated. The drywallers were supposed to show up this last weekend, which they didn't. They rescheduled for this coming weekend. And I've been going about it all wrong. There's a door, it's on a little storage place. The water heater's the only thing in it, but I will put a new door on there right away. I didn't know that was what the holdup was, but it's almost done. Just a drywall and paint.
Okay, I'm going to give you till May 3, and if it's not done by then, I'm going to fine you next
Okay.
time I see you.
I'll have it done.
Don't mean to be rude, but.
I know.
All right.
It's been going on long enough.
Okay, I'll amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until May 3, 2023 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. And I'm not going to be interested
Did nothing else. Me neither.
in anything.
Thank you, sir.
Except hearing our inspector say compliance. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Case number 37, S. David Shaw and Lily Mae Shaw. Anyone here for the respondent? Yes, sir. If you would state your name and be sworn.
My name is S. David Shaw.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
All right, I have that this matter is here for the imposition of a fine, so let's hear from our inspector.
All right, since the last hearing, this is the continuance of the trying to combine both parcels. Mr. Long has submitted all his paperwork to the city planner. Ms. Long, I've been in touch with Ms. Long. Says she's working on it to submit it to Volusia County for them to either approve it or deny it. So staff requests to amend to the next cutoff.
You're combining two parcels because you don't want to move that shed?
Yes, sir.
And that makes sense to you?
Yes, sir. Sir?
Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
the county, when I first got word, the whole lot was all a bunch of trees. I mean, tremendous growth of trees. And I've been working on it, cleaning it up, maintaining it, trying to get everything done. I submitted, paid over $1,000, $1,500, trying to comply, make combination of my lots.
You know, I'm going to bore you with a story for a second. I'm handling a lawsuit right now. Guy bought a house. Next thing you know, he's getting sued because somebody said half his house is on this other guy's property. And lo and behold, sure enough, half his house is on someone else's property.
Yeah.
Because back in the chain of title, somebody had done exactly what you're doing. They combined two lots. And then as things went on, one of those lots was lost to a tax sale. And when the house was sold, somebody forgot that there was another lot there that the seller didn't own anymore. And that has turned into a real cluster, you know what.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're at liberty to do whatever you want with your property. I'm just saying or suggesting to you as a fellow citizen, I think you're going to a lot of effort for very little return, but that's your prerogative. So in any event, where do we stand as far as the combining of the lots?
The paperwork, according to Ms. Long, that he submitted, it's on her desk, finalizing it, submit it to Volusia County, and then it's up to Volusia County to sign off. That's what she told me.
And then once all that happens, then this violation evaporates?
Right, because at that point, he can have a storage shed on his combined parcel. Can't have a storage shed on a vacant lot.
Okay. So just tell me when we're reconvening and what we're meeting for.
Your Honor,
Yeah.
back in November, I went to the county thinking that once I combined the lots together, paid all the money that it's supposed to be to combine the lots, I got approval, and they taxed me for combining the lots together. Now, through the Mr. Boss telling me about the procedure, I should have came to the city first and then went to the county. So I got the county approval first, and then when I come back to the city, I had to get the city approval. So I had to get a survey, had to get everything done, which I've been doing, sir. And I thought everything was done when I submitted all the paperwork and stuff. And then I get this other saying, no, it's not done. There's still And, I told her yesterday, and she said, they're backlogged, and she's trying to catch up. And I understand.
I understand, and apparently you're allowed to do this. So my only question is, how much longer is it going to take?
As soon as they approve us, sir.
Okay, well, am I putting down the next cutoff of May 3? We want. Am I just bringing everybody back for a progress report?
Let's do it in June. Give her some time to catch up with her work and submit it over there.
All right, then I will continue this matter to our June 13th, no, I'm leaving the status alone. That's the imposition of a fine, which is what it's supposed to be unless and until he completes what he's got in the works.
Correct.
So we will continue to the June 13 meeting the issue as to whether or not there's an imposition of a fine. All right, so administratively, we're just going to leave everything alone until our June 13 meeting.
Yes, sir.
And if you're all done with everything by then I guess we'll be done with you.
Sir, I comply with everything that was been asked. I can't park my vehicles on the lot. In fact, because I couldn't park my vehicle on the lot, someone came along and smashed in the back of my truck because I had to park on the street.
All right, well, that's unfortunate. In any event, good luck to you, and keep your inspector informed as far as where you stand as far as getting these approvals are concerned.
I guess she's been sending them emails about the progress and stuff, and he helped me
Is
out.
that your house I see in those pictures there?
Yeah.
Now, you realize when you sell your house, you're selling that other lot as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I don't plan to sell, sir.
10-4.
I'm a lifelong citizen of Daytona Beach.
All right.
I was
Good luck
born
to you.
here. I was born here, raised here,
All right.
and served in this city.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Case number 38, Brandon Wilson. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, since the last hearing, more progress was made. I spoke with the owner on April 3rd. You just need a little more time to finish. I would like to amend to the next cutoff.
All right. Based upon the testimony of our inspector, I'm going to amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent till May 3, 2023 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 39, Adiba Shuha. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, since the last hearing, no progress or contact with the owner. Staff requests a fine of $200 a day with a max of $15,000.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the photographs presented and the testimony of our inspector, I'm fining the respondent the sum of $250 per day, commencing April 6, 2023, and that fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until such time as the property is in compliance or the amount of the fine has reached the sum of $15,000. Case number 40, Tao No Lei and Hien Van Pham. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
All right, since the last hearing, the entire lot has been cleared. All the debris was moved to the front of the property. I've been in contact with the owner. They have a trailer out there getting ready to dump all the debris on there, so I would like to amend to the next cutoff.
Based upon our inspector's presentation, I will amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent till May 3, 2023 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 41 we've already addressed. Case number 42, Ocean Winds Condominium Association. Good morning.
Good morning.
If you would please state your name and be sworn.
Susan Bridges.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, this matter is here for the imposition of a fine, so let's hear from our inspector.
All right, since the last hearing, I've had contact and progress, and I would like to amend to the June cutoff, which point I believe they should be able to be done or pretty darn close to it.
Okay, what say the respondent?
We are signed with the engineers. We're now signed with the contractor, and they have submitted all the paperwork for the permitting, and they're going to be imminently starting. So their completion, 90 days is what they said, from start to finish, everything redone. All the work done, repainted, everything. So we expect to start within the next probably week to 10 days that they'll actually have started the work.
So do we want to give them till July 5th?
Oh, we would be amendable to that.
Okay. All right, July 5th is a lot closer to your 90 days and your start date, so we will go ahead and amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until July 5, 2023 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter, with one caveat. Your contractors disappear or anybody else disappears, you notify your inspector immediately.
Right. The contractor is a local, well-known, experienced contractor, so I don't anticipate any issues.
All right, well, sometimes I give people extra time and then I have egg on my face because they go, oh, well, yeah, I couldn't come to terms with my contractor or whatever. All right, so in any event, anything happens to disrupt the plans, just please keep your inspector informed.
Absolutely.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Case number 43, Daytona Beach, Bella Vista. Yes, sir. If you would state your name and be sworn.
Doug Shannon.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, this matter is here for the imposition of a fine, so let's hear from our inspector.
All right, since the last hearing, I've had contact and progress. I'd like to amend to the May hearing to allow the work to be completed.
Allow to the May hearing to allow the work to be completed.
Yes.
You mean the May cutoff?
The May cutoff, excuse me.
Okay. All right. The inspector saying progress has been made and you should have it done by May 3. What say you to that?
Okay. I thought I had everything in place, then got an email from the plan inspector, plan review, and harbor workers compensation. What we're doing is a 4-foot-high wall. There, then painting your ceiling. And is there any way I could get around that? I've called my insurance agent. She's working on it. She's not getting a whole lot of positive feedback, though. Everything else is in place.
Well, is this interrupting your ability to get started?
Yes, I can't get a permit without it. We have, and I've already submitted, we have $2 million in insurance coverage for workman's comp and liability. With Volusia County named on the policy.
And what kind of insurance are you being told you have to have?
I gotta read it. Longshore and harbor workers comp. I call my longtime agent.
Hang on a second. I'm still trying to digest that. Longshore and harbor workers comp.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to order you to come into compliance by May 3, 2023. And I'm going to do that because I'm hoping you're going to be able to figure that out, whatever that is, because it sounds, anyway, I'm hoping you'll be able to figure that out. And if not, you're going to remind me of this conversation.
Yes,
if need be in the future. And I will certainly take that into consideration. I'm not a city planner, but I don't understand what longshoremen and harbor workers comp has to do with fixing a seawall.
Yes, sir. The The
I'm
applic,
sure someone much smarter than me will explain it to me. So in any event, the inspector seems to think you ought to have it done by May 3. I'll order you to have it done by May 3. You've put me on notice that you've got this glitch, and I will not forget it.
thank you.
So if additional time is required, I certainly will take that into consideration.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to you. Case number 44, we have already resolved. Case number 45, we've already heard. Case number 46, Ellen Rosenfeld, trustee of the Virgil and Ellen Rosenfeld Family Trust. Is there anyone here for the respondent?
Yes.
Here we are. If you would please state your name and be sworn.
Kelsey Jolin.
Raise your hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Your name again?
Kelsey Jolin,
And your affiliation with the respondent.
property manager.
Okay. All right, we're here for the imposition of a fine, so let's hear from our inspector.
Since last hearing, I've had several communications with Jonan. The property is occupied, however, in terms of progress, the roof is done and the permit has been closed. Thereafter, now they can start the stucco work, so as such, cities wish to amend to the next cutoff, please.
All right. The city has indicated this progress has been made, but we're not quite done. City apparently is satisfied enough to propose. I extend your cutoff till May 3. What say you to that?
Thank you very much.
All right. And based
I'm not
upon the
sure. We just
testimony of the
signed that
parties, I
contract
will
with
amend
them.
our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until May 3, 2023 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Case number 47 has already been heard. Case number 48, Daytona Lands 1. Anyone here for the respondent? We have someone for a respondent. We should do this like those NASCAR races, flip the field so we can actually hear from the people that show up. In any event, your name, please.
Dana Spear, S-P-E-E-R.
You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Your affiliation with Daytona Lands 1?
Agent for owner.
All right. We're here for the imposition of a fine, so let's hear from our inspector.
Since last hearing, I've had several communications with Ms. Spear. The property is vacant, and demo permit is under review with the building department. As such, the city would like to recommend till next cutoff, please.
What say the respondent to that?
Yes, I agree.
All right. Based upon the presentation of the parties, I will amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent till May 3, 2023 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. All right,
Thank
good luck
you.
to you. Case number 49, Sandals US LLC. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Since last hearing, I've had several communications with the owner as well as the building department. The current progress is that it's currently under review with the building department for their permit. As such, staff would like to enter the next cutoff, please. Actually, amend to the June cutoff, please, because there's a work to do. The site plan was submitted to the city, is still under review.
All right, I'm sorry, amend to the next cutoff?
The June cutoff, please.
I'm sorry, the June cutoff?
June cutoff, yes.
Okay. All right, based upon our inspector's presentation, I'll amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until June 7, 2023 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to lien review number 1, Phi Hung and Hang Lu Lo, 582 Mason Avenue. All right. All right, yes, sir, if you would please state your name and be sworn.
My name is Harry Lowe, sir.
And your affiliation with the respondents?
Yes, sir, right. Representing Fei Hong Lowe and Hannah Lowe is my parents.
Mr. McKelger.
Yes.
The city, as well as Mr. Lowe, has come up with an agreement that we would like to recommend to you.
All right.
That's in the amount, reduce the total amount down to $3,000.
Are you in agreement, Mr. Lowe?
Yes, sir, I agree.
Okay. Can I have that picture back that you had up there a second ago? Okay, what was the violation? I assumed we had way too many cars on that property? Mr. Sykes?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
There was numerous violations on the particular property. There's probably over 20 at the time we cited them. As you can see now, the property is in great shape. For the last 6-7 years, the property itself, it was horrible. They had trees, they had wrecked vehicles, they were stacking vehicles, junk, debris all over the property. And as you see it now, it looks great from the main corridor.
That looks great?
Yes, sir. Compared to the way it was? Oh, yeah. The building has been painted. Windows have been put in. The bathrooms were redone. The parking lot has been resurfaced. Yes, sir. It's come a long, long ways.
All right, in any event, I will go ahead and approve the stipulation of the parties and reduce the order imposing fine lien to the sum of $3,000. That is subject to being paid within 30 days, so please make sure that's taken care of, because if it's not taken care of within the 30 days, then the fine remains in effect as it is right now. And if you have any problems along the way, if you'll contact our city attorney, he'll be happy to work with you.
Yes, sir, got it.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, that brings us to lien review 2, Nicholas M. Ulsh, 341 Maple Street. Yes, sir, if you would state your name and be sworn.
Raise your hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
No.
Thank you.
Mr. Pagelja,
Yes, sir.
on this lien review 2 and 3 for the same property, the city and its property owners has entered into an agreement for a reduced amount for this lien to total $3,000. That's $1,500 for both cases.
For each case.
I'm sorry, for each case, yes.
Okay, Mr. McLean, your affiliation with Nicholas M. Ulsh?
I'm not affiliated whatsoever. I purchased a property recently. And
So you own the property?
Yes, sir. The two
Both of
liens-
these properties?
There's only one property. And both of those liens, but those names associated are the previous owners.
Okay. And so what'd they do? Spill over to your ownership?
Yes.
341 Maple Street?
Correct.
And so you're resolving
The
the
previous
lien
infraction.
as to your property, the liens as to your
Correct.
property?
One of them was a lack of rental license. The other one was just the property was just unsafe. And I worked as hard as I can to get it in compliance and did.
Okay.
They had billed like.
So am I leaving these liens in place but releasing Mr. McLean here? And/or 341 Maple Street? Is that what I'm hearing?
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
Yes, what we're asking for is partial release, just to release
Mr.
this.
McLean.
Yes.
All right, well, I want to be clear here, and you'll want to be as broad as you can possibly think. So I'm releasing you. I'm releasing 341 Maple Street. Do you own 341 Maple Street in your name personally?
That's my company name.
Okay, well, we need to know that. What is that?
Oh, Shoreline Endeavors LLC.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Shoreline Endeavors LLC.
Okay, so I just want to be clear. So I am releasing Shoreline Endeavors LLC, Mr. McLean, and 341 Maple Street from the liens that were imposed against Nicholas M. Ulsh and Village Resources and Real Estate. And I'm doing that in return for Mr. McLean paying the city the sum of $1,500 for each of those liens, for a total amount of $3,000. All right, and upon payment of that $3,000, Mr. McLean, his corporation, and 341 Maple Street will be released from all those liens. Did I say that correctly?
Not exactly. Before 341 Maple Street is the property that's actually the subject of the lien.
And I'm saying.
So we have to
release.
Yeah, you have to let it. Yeah, that's correct. You said it right.
All right, if you've forgotten something, just let us know. I'm just trying to make sure your title's clear of these liens, which is why I asked who held title to the property.
Yes, I do.
And you're certain of that?
I'm 1,000%.
Perfect, all right. Okay, so did I say, am I done? I think so.
Yes.
All right, well, and of course, that's subject to being paid within 30 days.
I brought a checkbook.
Very good, and if you have any problems along the way, if you contact our city attorney, he'll be happy to work with you, and good luck to you.
Thanks.
Okay, I believe that concludes our agenda for this morning. Do we have any miscellaneous business to be brought? Sure. Okay, we're going back to a case. Sorry.
First one in the cases. $32.
Okay, case 32. All right, we already fined the Worshams. What are we doing? They're here, so they're going to tell us why we shouldn't fine them.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Just be sworn in. State your name.
Allison Worsham.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's start this over with our inspector. Mr. Inspector, why is it I should impose a fine? Remind me.
I've had no contact with the property owner since the last hearing. The paperwork that was turned in earlier last month was rejected by planning, and they haven't re-entered it the proper way. They did not re-enter it. So there's been no progress, no forward movement.
When you said resubmitted, you mean?
Yes,
Okay.
as requested by emails to them from the planning department.
Okay, and that's why we fined you, that and the fact that you weren't here. All right, so what say the Worshams?
Well, if I can speak about last month, I was in Jacksonville and I missed my time slot on Zoom. I was there caring for a family member at Mayo Clinic. I've been there most of the month last month. She had 2 kidneys and a colon removed, and was her lead of her healthcare team. So that's the reason why I missed. But I was on Zoom and I waited from like around 11 to about 2. And Miss Reno told me that she apologized that she had missed, I had already had my time at 9:42. So that was the reason why I didn't attend last month. I waited on Zoom, but I wasn't there because I was in Jacksonville.
What's going on with the property?
The property, we had to get rid of the last engineer. So we had to hire a brand new engineer, Lotus Construction and Engineering, and they have done a full set of plans that we submitted about 2 weeks ago. So they're actually in the process of reviewing it.
Okay, I heard over here there were no submittals. Now you're telling me there is a submittal.
Yeah, we submitted a full set of plans.
Full set of plans.
Yeah, I can show you on my email while I emailed them to
So
Hannah.
what happened with the rejection of the first plans?
That was with the last engineer. He kept giving us the same thing, and he refused to do the full set of plans like the
We've
city.
gotten rid of the first
Gotten rid of
engineer
him.
whose plans failed.
Right, and we needed
You're
a
telling me you've submitted new plans 2 weeks ago.
right with a brand new engineer, Lotus Engineering. We had to give him a little bit of time to get familiar with the project and go over all the comments from the city, and he did a full set of plans that we submitted 2 weeks ago. Now it's
Plans got submitted to whom?
Hannah directly, because Hannah Ward.
City
Mm-hmm.
planner. Planner,
Yep.
okay.
And I brought in the paper submittals as well, so they're being reviewed. They haven't given it back to us yet.
Okay, well, that changes the circumstance.
No, sir. Those plans on 320 were the ones that were rejected.
Okay, so now I'm being told the second set, so we're talking the second set of plans?
Yes, sir.
Second
plans,
set of plans.
The plans on 320, which was 2 weeks ago, were rejected.
Okay,
We didn't get notice of being rejected as
There
of.
was an email that was sent to you.
I don't
And
have
there's
email.
also notes that were in chronology. Could you pull up the notes, please? It was the refusal.
Hannah sent an email saying that she couldn't start the process because she did not have the paper submittals. I did not submit the paper. I submitted electronically on Friday, and then I submitted the paper submittals on Monday. So they do have everything that they needed. They did start it. See, please provide a paper submittal, and I submitted. I emailed her.
It also says on there that it was not accepted.
Right, but if you see that she sent that on the 17th, I submitted, if you see the top, on the 17th, I submitted electronically. On the 20th, right before she sent the email at 2:13, I had already submitted the paper submittals at 1 o'clock, and I sent Vanessa an email, and I told her that the submittals are there, so they've started the submittal process.
They have not.
Call Hannah. Can we reach out to Hannah?
I was with them about 30 minutes ago.
They're in track, they're reviewing it.
There's nothing else in Trackit. That's the last thing that's in Trackit. I was with planning right after the hearing, and I went over there and talked to them. Again, I talked to them before hearing, and I
well,
talked
let
to
me
them
tell you what
after.
I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna change what I've done already, but I'm putting y'all on the June meeting, and that'll give everybody plenty of time to straighten everything out, and more importantly, I hope somebody's going to show me where some progress is either been made or is going to be anticipated shortly. So, I'm going to leave the ruling as is right now because I haven't heard anything that would persuade me that it's necessarily wrong. But you're telling me things, he's telling me things, and at the June 13 meeting, if you want me to reconsider the order I just put in there because you're telling me it's not what I'm hearing, it's totally different, then I will hear you out on June 13th, okay?
Yes, sir.
So that order stays in place. If you all need to get your ducks in a row for June 13th, come prepared. There we go. Enough said on that. I'm just giving everybody their opportunity to be heard, and so nobody feels they're getting shortchanged, getting caught off guard in the heat of the moment.
So will we call this a case review since it's
Sure.
would otherwise
we'll call it
not
a
be
case
on the
review.
hearing?
I'm not changing my order. I'm going to, and I'm not saying I'm reconsidering it. We will do a case review on June 13th because the respondent says there's additional information that I haven't had an opportunity to consider. And the parties seem to have a conflict over the accuracy of those statements. So I'm giving everyone until June 13th to straighten it out. 10-4?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Anything else to be brought before his special magistrateness?
Appears not. No, sir.
And we're adjourned.